Greetings. I thought I'd make another YouTube video. Did a live feed which got cut after 40 minutes on Facebook. Obviously started to say things that the controllers and scriptwriters of this world do not like. What a shame. In your face, Illuminati, because I put up a status saying my feed got cut and it brought more traffic to people looking at the video. It's great fun. I posted up something yesterday which I think is rather interesting. The word demon comes from daimon, which is Greek, meaning knowledge. When you think about the old nursery rhyme, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Interesting, huh? And what about Lucifer? Lucerne Fera. Lake Lucerne, where the Moonlight Sonata is so named by a poet, which Beethoven wrote. Lovely piece of music. Means the light carrier, Venus, the morning star. Sounds a little bit like Jesus to me, in a different name. Funny enough, the Jesus character starts with Orion, with Osiris rather. Born of a virgin, 12 disciples, blah blah blah. Nothing new under the sun. Then we have Satan, which is Hebrew, meaning adversary or questioner. And finally, devil, which is Greek for diablos, which is probably where we get diabolical from, who is also the accuser. None of them actually sound particularly evil to me. I was watching Hyperionism with Morgue. Very worthwhile watching some of his videos. Very illuminating as to true meanings of things. I mean, let's face it, let's take the story of, I'm going to reiterate what he's saying here. Let's take the story of Abraham and his son Isaac. Now you imagine in a modern day setting, you end up in court. Why did you kill your son? Because some voice whispered into my head told you I was God and that I must kill my firstborn son or my only son. Yeah, that really sounds like an all-loving being. Not. But hey, Hatman today as well. I was asked what was the point of me posting that up. Well, very simply, you want to get to the root of anything, you also need to look at the roots of words. So let's take Peter and Paul as another example. Peter, Petra, meaning rock. And then you have Paul in the biblical books. Paul, Apollo, aspect of the sun. But let's not forget, when you go right back to Genesis, before there was light, there was darkness. So which is right? I mean, let's face it, if we're all have the power of choice and duality within us, then surely this supreme being also has choice. If this supreme creator, this being, this original source created everything, that means it created the dark side and the light side. But the trouble is, you see, we live in a world of phony Phoenician phonetics. It's like anything. You look at a soap opera on the television. You'll see actors and actresses playing these characters. They're on a stage, they come and go, but the one constant that always remains is always the unseen scriptwriters. I think we would actually call them in the context of what's going on in the world the Jesuits. Oh, you could call it Skull and Bones, Illuminati, Freemasons. All various aspects of the same nasty evil, which are basically women haters. The ultimate would be to find this script the first script writer, and then have a woman give birth right on his face. Talk about in your face. Have all the fluids, because that's the one thing the dark side cannot do. It cannot create. Which is why they hate women so much. You look right throughout history, whatever history is. I mean, let's face it, as George Orwell very rightly said, history is an agreed upon lie. and you start looking around at the things in the world, you start wondering about what is the real history, what is the real year, what is the truth. You're not going to find that by just believing what somebody tells you. You're only going to find that by asking questions, by being the accuser, by looking at the knowledge. It's the same with everything. If I pick up a knife, I can butter bread with it, or I can stab someone with it. It's the intent I put behind whatever it is, whether it be words or numbers. I mean, we could go delving in and do a whole video on the number 33 and how that is associated with evil. But it's like everything, words, numbers, it's the intent you put behind it. Once you get the idea of how these script writers work and how they twist truth, and you start understanding the mechanism of it all, it becomes very apparent. And there's no need to keep going down quite so deep into all these rabbit holes, because you're never going to find a way out of these rabbit holes. You'll just go deeper and deeper and deeper. It's quite a warren, quite a maze in these rabbit holes. But it's interesting to look at all these various things, whether it be 9/11, what is our true history, you name it, whatever it is. They're all worth looking into, but only to the point where you understand the language of these script writers. And it's the same with the alphabet. This is right down to the shape of the letters. The A, that right at the start, the alpha. The A is basically a pyramid with a hierarchical system, bit like the pyramid on the back of the dollar bill. Interesting about the dollar. Reverse that, you've got soul lard. You're selling your soul, your fat around your soul. In the UK, we're not subjected to the euro, but we have pounds. So you're prostituting your body with your pound of flesh to earn this agreed upon fake thing called money, the moon eye. That's not your true wealth at all. Your true wealth is your currency, your liquid gold within inside yourself. See, this whole world has had this huge deception played on it, where you are meant to be thought of as a sinner. I mean, how can a baby be a sinner? It's innocent. There's just no rational explanation to that at all, is there really? A baby is not necessarily, or doesn't come out into this world evil. It only becomes evil by the way it's been treated. There has been an interesting talk I listened to, somebody who had gone to the dark side, as it were. The reason they had gone to the dark side was because between the ages of 9 and 11 they were repeatedly raped by men. And as this guy said, the brain just switches off and disassociates from the physical reality, but it sets up inside that person a hatred of all life and all humanity. So are they really to blame? It's a case of the bullied becoming the bully, I would have said. So we've got to be very careful where we start, who we start accusing, should we really be judging anybody? Certainly if there's somebody doing something evil and taking a life of another life, then yes, that is evil. Because it is going to be for personal gain or for ego if it's a case of a trophy hunter in these safaris and things where they go and shoot endangered species. That is absolutely insanity, whoever allows the permits. And of course, the more money you have, the more of these hunts and things you can go on. And as I've said repeatedly, you want to get to the answer to anything. Who is the guilty party? Always follow the money trail. Look at the billionaires and trillionaires. Look at how they have amassed their wealth and at whose expense. It's a repeat pattern in every television series and films. All these ruthless businessmen have a very unpleasant side, and it is always at the expense of other people and other things. But let's not just be so arrogant as to think that humanity is above everything else. Let me paint you a picture here. Let me mention the Somme in the First World War. What immediately springs to your mind? Most people are going to say the loss of human life. Well, what about the loss of all the trees, where all you have is a charred remains of a trunk? What about all the insects, all the plant life, all the animals, all the birds? And if there happens to be rivers, what about all the fish? Where was their say in any of that? If there is to be a judgment day, the way things are going, it is not looking very good for humanity if you weigh it up on a set of scales between all life and human life. But obviously, humans have been played. They have been tricked into thinking that God, what they think is God, is actually the opposite. Because no loving God would demand sacrifices or the deaths of newborn sons or whatever it happens to be, or other sadistic acts of violence. We can look at that from the actions and the words to get the true answer to that one, I think. But it's amazing, I love a way some of this information comes through in songs. Now, very good is a group called Marillion from the 1980s. The lead singer, ironically, was called Fish. Maybe slight reference to the fish god, Quetzalcoatl. I'll leave that one to you to look at. But I would say look at songs like Forgotten Sons. Look at a song called Fugazi. Now in that song the words say, do you realise the world is totally fugazi? Fugazi is an Arabic word meaning fucked up. And let's face it, we live in an insane world. You've got abortions accounting for the deaths of 42 million lives. You have vaccines. Just look at the word vaccine. To vaccinate, it's sucking out your life force. Unless you think mercury and formaldehyde and fetal tissue is something that is actually good for you, well, good luck with that one. Because you'll then set yourself up to be a customer for the pharmaceutical industry. The farm suit, I see all. Yeah, they're robbing you of your life, slowly, like parasites, basically. They make money out of you on the way, same as cancer sufferers. Big business. Just look at the number of homeopathic doctors that seem to be murdered or die mysteriously in car crashes or suicide. How exactly someone commits suicide by doing 2 bullets in the back of their head is beyond me, but this is the laughable explanations we're given when these doctors are found dead. Maybe it's something to do with the money. It's always the money. It is the driving force behind all the evil of this world. This is why I do not work. I claim a benefit, but I'll be damned if I'm paying taxes. I'm not a pay-again. I'm not a pagan. I've already paid. I'm already on Prison Planet. Why would I want to pay again? That is insane. Or insanity. Your third eye is tied by this insane system. But yes, you do need to actually go insane. That means going within yourself. If you look at everything from the spiritual side, the message is always go within yourself, because that is where you will find the answers. You're not sinners. You're not lesser beings. You are all gods and goddesses. I was asked the other day, am I a Christian? No, I'm not a Christian. I do not believe in Christian-ity. I believe in a Christ consciousness. Christ, all Christ means is an anointed one. Now you can choose to identify with any one of these 78 names that fit this same story of born of a virgin, born on the 25th of December, 12 disciples, crucified, resurrected. That's your choice. You can believe the Jesuits and their Roman script in the modern day Bible, or you can start looking right across the board, because don't forget, as well as the Alpha, there is also the Omega. Now the Omega, the symbol O, is a complete circle. You are complete, you create the world around you. It's a circle as far as you come into contact with. Now let's put it into the alphabet, because it is a gamble. If you look at it in the A to Z or to the A to Z, look what's right in the middle. You've got L, which is a name of a god. associated with Saturn. You have M. EM reversed is me. That is the Sumerian name for the soul. Right bang slap in the middle. And then you have N, which is a name for Lord, like Enlil and Enki, Lord of the earth and Lord of the sky. The answer to all of this is to look across the whole spectrum. Don't just look at Christianity, don't just look at Islam, don't just look at Judaism. Look at Hindu, look at Buddhist. Listen to what the ancient tribes from South America, North America, Australia were all saying. See which ones actually tell the similar story and which ones are telling you a story with an agenda to it, shall we say. I'm going to leave that here because I want to keep these short. What we got up to? Oh, we're up to 15 minutes, 50 seconds. I think that'll do for today. Nice little digestible chunks, I think. Food for thought, just like food you eat. Small amounts, little and often. That's the policy I go with. Not only that, I'm not very good with technology and I can't do great long videos and expect them to upload. So my excuse is, I'm going to say, we'll just do bite-sized chunks. But logically, it makes more sense. So thank you for listening, and there will be more videos coming. And I wish you all a lovely day.